Good morning, investors. You are now on KleverStock with me, Ainun Jara, serving you the latest morning bell updates. Kicking it off with the opening bell updates on the Bursa market. The PMKLCI opened the week on a rising note as Asian markets rallied, fueled by growing expectations that the U.S. Federal Reserve will cut interest rates at its next meeting. The optimism follows a dismal U.S. jobs report over the weekend, which saw unemployment figures climbed and effectively sealed the case for a rate cut. By 9 a.m. Monday, the PMKLCI gained 3.07 points to 1,581.22, with the most banking stocks lending support to the upward momentum. Among early movers, Tenaga Nasional rose 12 cents to 13 ringgit and 18 cents. Petronas Dagangan added 12 cents to 21 ringgit.
The development of humanity and technology contributed to the educational reform. The concept of multi-element learning, which was introduced by Dr. H. Gardner, USA, since the mid-1980s has been valued by the experts of quality education. To foster a happier learning environment, Taiwan has replaced the traditional university's admissions with a multiple enrollment since 2002, aiming to allow students to apply for higher education institutions with their individual talent, experience in competitions, or volunteering instead of only focusing on academic results. And Taiwan is not the only region that promoted this method of student recruitment. This is how Academy came about. In response to the Ministry of Education's plan to shift children's education from a text-based to a comprehensive approach in the year 2020.
The optimism follows a dismal U.S. jobs report over the weekend, which saw unemployment figures climbed and effectively sealed the case for a rate cut. By 9 a.m. today, the PMKLCI gained 3.07 points to 1,581.22, with most banking stocks lending support to the upward momentum. Among early movers, Tenaga Nasional rose 12 cents to 13 ringgit and 18 cents. Petronas Dagangan added 12 cents to 21 ringgit and 92 cents, and Petronas Gas climbed 6 cents to 18 ringgit and 76 cents. Banking counters also ticked higher, with Maybank up 1 cent at 10 ringgit, Public Bank gaining 2 cents to 4 ringgit and 29 cent, and RHB advancing 3 cents to 6 ringgit and 53 cents. Now, active stocks included JAX rising half a cent to 10.5 cent, NextG adding 1 cent to 49 cent, and Valesto up half a cent at 21 cent. TA Securities said optimism over a potential Fed rate cut in September could cushion downside risk and modestly lift investor confidence, though it expects the market to remain in consolidation mode amid the lack of fresh domestic catalysts. It highlighted immediate support at the 50% FR, or 1,527, with a stronger support at 1,490 and 1,444, while resistance remains at 1,610 and 1,644, with a stronger ceiling at 1,684. Meanwhile, Rakuten Trade said most research houses remain calm and expect the FPM-KLCI to trend between 1,620 and 1,690 by the end of 2025, despite acknowledging a decent earnings season. For today, it anticipates the index to play catch-up with the last Friday's strong regional performance, hovering between 1,580 and 1,595. We shall now examine the performance of the ringgit. The ringgit opened stronger against US dollar on Monday, lifted by a growing expectations of a US interest rate cut after weaker non-farm payrolls NFP data. At 8 a.m., the local currency stood at 4.2030 or 4.2285 per dollar, strengthening from Thursday's close of 4.2260 or 4.2320. The markets were closed on Friday for the Maulidur Rasul holiday. Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad Chief Economist Dr. Muhammad Afzal Nizam Abdul Rashid said the softer than expected US August NFP report should pave the way for a rate cut at next week's Federal Open Market Committee FOMC meeting on September 16 and 17. However, he noted the ringgit may trade cautiously amid political developments in Japan, where the Prime Minister has offered his resignation. He explained that the situation appears dollar positive as the next leadership is expected to be more dovish on fiscal policy. On that note, he projected the US dollar against the ringgit could range between 4.21 and 4.23 today. The ringgit was mostly higher against major currencies in early trade. It strengthened to 2.8322 or 2.8496 versus the yen and rose to 5.6694 or 5.7038 against the pound. It was little changed against the euro at 4.9213 or 4.9512. Against ASEAN currencies, the ringgit traded mostly firmer. It advanced to 256.5 or 257.9, climbed to 3.2706 or 3.2867 versus the Singapore dollar and gained 7.35 or 7.39 against the peso. However, it slipped to 13.0454 or 13.1158 against the baht. Moving on to local economy updates. Malaysia has secured 450 million ringgit in potential investments from its September 5th trade and investment mission to the Netherlands, according to the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry MITI. Now, the prospective inflows are targeted at the electrical and electronics, E&E, and machinery sectors, underscoring Malaysia's role as a preferred hub for European technology leaders. MITI said the investment are set to expand the nation's high technology manufacturing base, create skilled employment opportunities, and enhance research and development collaboration in semiconductor technologies, renewable energy, and Industry 4.0 applications. During the mission, Minister Tengku Dato' Sri Zafrul Abdul Aziz engaged with the Brabant Regional Development Corporation, the East Netherlands Development Agency, and Brainport Industries, all key drivers of the Netherlands semiconductor agenda. The discussions centered on reinforcing industrial partnerships and supply chain resilience, with the goal of unlocking high-value opportunities in advanced technology. On September 5 in The Hague, Tengku Zafrul and Dutch Economic Affairs Minister Vincent Caramans inked a Memorandum of Cooperation (MOC) on the semiconductor industry, strengthening Malaysia's positioning as a strategic partner in the global semiconductor supply chain. Tengku Zafrul said the 450 million ringgit in potential investment would help accelerate Malaysia's national semiconductor strategy (NSS) and bring the country closer to its 500 billion ringgit high-tech, high-value semiconductor and E&E investment target by 2030. In 2024, the Netherlands was Malaysia's largest EU export destinations and second largest EU trading partner, with trade totaling 41.26 billion ringgit. The momentum was carried into 2025, with January-July bilateral trade rising 15.9% to 25.76 billion ringgit. The Netherlands is also Malaysia's top foreign investors, with 314 manufacturing projects worth 103.8 billion ringgit implemented as of June 2025, generating 55,053 jobs nationwide. And now moving on to some corporate news updates. Malaysia's telecommunications sector posted a mixed bag of results for the second quarter of 2025, according to CIMB Securities Research, with most players broadly in line with expectations. Now, Maxis Berhad stood out, delivering stronger than expected earnings, while CelcomDigi Berhad lagged. The research firm highlighted that overall industry mobile service revenue remained stable year on year. On a quarterly basis, Maxis lifted its mobile revenue market share by 0.3 percentage points to 42.7%, while CelcomDigi slipped 0.3 percentage points to 57.3%. Now, fixed services were a drag, contracting 2.5% year on year due entirely to Telekom Malaysia's weaker showing. Competition in the fixed broadband segment stayed tight. CelcomDigi booked accelerated subscriber growth, while Telekom Malaysia and Maxis registered slower and flat additions, respectively. At the same time, industry average revenue per user, or ARPU, slipped 0.8% quarter on quarter, with further erosion expected in the second half of 2025. CIMB added that the ARPU could stabilize thereafter once most subscribers recontract under new offers rolled out since second half of 2023, following the implementation of the mandatory standard on access pricing. Despite the near-term pressure, CIMB maintains an overweight call on the sector, with CelcomDigi and Telekom Malaysia now its top picks, replacing Maxis, which it said lacks immediate catalysts. And finally, wrapping up with corporate developments and deals across Malaysia. Gamuda Berhad is partnering with Taylor's Education Group to redevelop a prime commercial site in SS15 Subang Jaya that has an estimated gross development value of 500 million ringgit. IOI Properties Group Berhad has completed its 7th issuance of Sukuk Murabahah, amounting to 1 billion ringgit in nominal value under its existing multi-currency Islamic medium-term note program of up to 3.0 billion ringgit. Axis Real Estate Investment Trust is proposing to acquire a plot of leasehold industrial land measuring 9 acres in Bandar Sultan Sulaiman, Selangor, from Barry Calabout, Malaysia's Sindian Berhad for 50 million ringgit. Pentamaster Corporation Berhad has invested $3 million for 14.3% stake in the head of Optoelectronics Malaysia Sindian Berhad to expand into optoelectronics and silicon photonics. And finally, DXN Holdings Berhad is buying an apartment in Dubai's iconic Burj Khalifa for 6.4 million dirhams in cash from the group's executive chairman and major shareholder Datuk Lim Xiao Jin. Now that's a wrap for Morning Bell Updates with me, Anu Jaria, on KleverStock. Thank you for choosing us, investors. Stay tuned for the next live coming soon.